Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and it's time for the Raw Edit of the Week number 67. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that coming up this Saturday in Nashville, Tennessee, there will be the second ever Froto Walk. And if you have not signed up yet, please click on Froto Walks, 2 Froto Walks, Nashville and Austin. You can sign up right here if you will be at either the Nashville one or the Austin one. Please sign up, though you don't have to sign up to show up. If we need to get in touch with you guys somehow, this will be the best way to do it. If you sign up and we have your information, please let us know how many people you're bringing. That would be great. Now let's get to the Raw Edit of the Week. And this is Raw Edit of the Week 67, and it's a beautiful, I guess this would be an Alaskan Husky, or are they called Siberian Huskies? My bad, Siberian Husky. I don't know where Alaskan came from. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous animal. And I know there are multiple directions that this file can be taken. So when you're doing your edits, be sure to name them Frono's Photo Raw Edit of the Week 67. You can post them definitely in the forum, because that's where I pick the the critiques from, or not the critiques, where I pick your raw edits of the week from each week, but put them on Facebook, put them on Google+, put them on Pinterest, put them in Flickr. It's a good place to share them with the world. But let's hit up that Google+ and all of that good stuff. So what are you going to do to this file? You're going to do the traditional black and white or color? Are you going to build a scene out of something? Just what are you going to do to this? This is just a solid file taken with the Nikon D90, taken with the 18-105, shot at 85 millimeters. Cool shot. Love the framing. Love the composition. It's solid. I believe it's sharp as can be. It's a very sharp shot. You can actually see the photographer in the background. Looks to be a little grainy, shot at 3200. But what are you going to do with it? I can't wait to see what you do with this thing. Please post it in the forum. If you would like to still make a screen flow, be sure to do that. And remember, I've got a lot of stuff to give away. And when people do really cool things out of nowhere, I sometimes just go ahead and pick a winner from somewhere. So I forgot to mention that this week's Raw Edit, like every week, is brought to you by Allen's Camera. Be sure to check them out at allenscamera.com. And you can, if you're in the U.S., pick up anything you would like Nikon, Canon. They even carry Sony these days, so anything Sony has. Anyway, give them a call. So there is the Raw Edit of the Week number 67. Let's see what you guys do with this. Be sure to download the file from the forum. And I want to mention that we did pass 20,000 forum members last week. So thank you guys very much for taking part in the Fro community, in the Fro forum. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad that you guys have cultivated such a great community where you guys just share information and interact and I guess make new friends, which is awesome. You know, you never really know what to expect when you start something like this, and the forum has grown into a great place for people to get a lot of help and to find some people to go and shoot with in their area. That's a cool thing. So coming up right after this, my Raw Edit, followed by Adam's Raw Edit, followed by your Raw Edits from 66. There it is, Jared. It's your turn to go edit. Raw Edit of the Week number 66 of this file that was that came from the Fuji X100. That's a Fujifilm point and shoot camera. It's a very, very cool camera that a lot of people are digging for the cool sensor that Fuji has put into this thing. So this is not from a digital SLR, but the image is solid. My idea for this image is to go black and white, old school, maybe split tone, and make this seem like it's the 1930s or whenever this was built. I think it was built in, what, the 20s? It got right before the Depression. I believe this was built in 28 or something. 28? Not aught, but that would be the 0. So here we go. Let's go to the black and white area. We're going to go this way. You know what we're doing. We're going contrast, because contrast was huge back in the day. That's what I'm talking about. Contrast was big. We're going to bump up the clarity. We are going to, are we going to Mr. Fill Light it? No. We're going to crop it? Is there a crop that exists in this image? No. But there is something that I want to add to it that, you know, is not something I would do to my own image, but I want to find the noise slider. If I could, grain, there it is. Let's dirty this up. Dirty. How big can we make the dirty? Roughness. Excellent. That's too rough. I don't like it. Just want it to be fine. I don't want it to be dirty. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you are. All right, so how did we do this? I like the grain. Yes, I'm liking this grain. I didn't like the other grain where, well, let's swatch the size and see what happens. Oh my God, that kills me. That kills me. I don't want to lose clarity and sharpness. What is this thing that says roughness? Holy. How rough can we make it? Ooh, that's gruffy. That's gruffy. It's McGruff. Kids, crime doesn't pay. It only pays when you don't get caught. But you know who does pay? McGruff the crime dog for his ladies. Because I like ladies. Anyway, I just added some grain. It's looking nice and roof to it. I didn't want to go terribly too far. Let's turn it. This is on. That is off. We'll zoom in on that. Off. On. Oh boy, we went grainy with this. Now I want to go back and I want to pump it. Pump it. Actually, why don't we go into a split tone here before we go too far? I know what color I'm looking for. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Welcome to 1928 New York City. There we go. Yes. Yes. It's good from downtown. Marv Albert. It needs this grain. I mean, it doesn't need the grain per se. But I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Here we go. Right there. Pump in a little bit more. I'm getting this old world feel to it. I'm liking it. Yeah, just like a little bit of pop right here. I don't know if I'm digging the grain, though. I mean, it's weird that it only shows up when we're zooming in uber-duper close. Let's see if it changes anything. Maybe it's just way too much. Maybe it's just way too much and we just have to turn it off. And we're turning it off. It was a nice shot, but I don't like the fakeness of it. I just love how tight the building is. It's just super tight. Beautiful. Like McGruff the crime dog likes it. So there. E. Not too much, but right there. That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to stop right there, general sharpen it. For those who keep asking, my general sharpening is just a basic general sharpening. You can see it here on the right-hand side. It's just something I came up with a long time ago. So here we go. Adam, it's your turn. You, sir, are up.
Adam Lerner, and welcome to this week's Raw Edit. This week we have one of my files. This was an image taken with the Fuji X100. If you didn't already know, my new favorite camera. I know it's not a new camera, but it's new-ish to my arsenal, and I love it. I can't get enough of it, and we're not going to digress about the Fuji right now. Okay, so this is the image, how it came right out of the camera. Some of you guys might be asking yourselves, why is it so dark? And, what was your thinking behind that? Well, I tend to like to underexpose my images rather than overexpose them when possible. Like, granted, look, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you can't, always get what you want. But in this case, I preferred the underexposure for a number of reasons. Number one, without underexposing to the point of no return, you can always bring up certain areas, okay, in your image. Number two, underexposed images just have a sharper look to them right out of the gate, And even if we look over here, if we go into the information, we see that I'm at f5.6. Now, I love shooting that Fuji all day long, wide open at f2. But for architecture, particularly when you're shooting into the sky, and the sky was really nice. It had all this beautiful detail. I chose to go 5.6 so that I could pull in like all this nice reflection in the windows here and all this nice cloud detail in the sky. We've even got some of this blue stuff happening in the windows here and here. For some reason, it just kind of harmoniously works. And one of my favorite things is kind of this shape that just happens right in here. This line and this line kind of meeting up in there. It's just kind of cool. I kind of overlooked this image, and interestingly, Jared and I were going back and forth about what images to use, and I just, ran past this one. He was like, wait, that's it. And, you know what? It became it. Interestingly, this was the first image I shot with it. And the composition is similar, but this was at f2. And I was shooting more on street level prior to this. But as you can see, it's way overexposed. And even if we were to try to, let's say, bring the exposure down, look what happens here. You get all this kind of chromatic fringing. You get like just weird stuff. I mean, the amount of time and trouble that you would spend trying to recover this would be really kind of irritating. And even if you decided to, let's say, go black and white, you probably could pull this image back, and it's not a complete lost cause. But I much prefer to start with really good source material, as we can see here. Okay, and I attribute a lot of this to the Fuji. So what I'd like to do with this image is that right now it feels a little bit cool. I'd like to warm it up a little bit. I don't really want to lose the sky detail. I definitely want to kind of accentuate the geometry here, the lines, the reflections. I want to also, bring out maybe a little bit more of the color in the buildings over here. The reason why the buildings are lit like this is because you've got reflections coming back at the buildings. I mean, New York City, or any city for that matter, particularly when you're in kind of a concrete canyon where the buildings are so close, it's so interesting, where you have all these shadows and reflections. And man, am I digressing today from this raw edit. So let's actually get back into the raw edit, or let's even start the raw edit for that matter. All right, so the very first thing I want to do is I'm just going to grab the exposure and I'm just going to hit it up a notch or two. And again, I'm really going to be conscientious about that sky because I don't want to really lose any of the detail. I also want to grab some fill. And I'm just going to keep going up to a certain point. But again, I don't want to get too crazy with it. So, we're going to get to a certain point, okay? Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Now you can see that, the bricks are starting to have a little bit more detail, but there was something really nice about the vignetted look that I want to get back to at some point. Now we're going to add some contrast. This is going to put a little meat on those bones. And look what's happening here. I mean, it's just coming alive. Now, if we go too far, look what's happening to that sky. Okay, it just looks, to me, it looks a little bit corny. So we're going to go backing off. We're going to back off a little bit. We're going to kind of go maybe to about there. Clarity. I'm going to bring up my clarity, and that's going to bump up those midtones, and man, you could really go far. I'm really looking forward to the Lightroom 4 release because it really corrects a lot of the kind of overdoing it, let's say, that some of these sliders in Lightroom 3 do. You'll notice that the new processing engine in this particular module, it has a lot more subtlety to it, and I tend to prefer that. But for the time being, because Lightroom 4 Beta is still so buggy, I'm going to stay in 3. I'm not going to touch vibrance and saturation quite yet. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go into sharpening. The image is sharp pretty much all the way throughout, so I'll just grab like a detail like, maybe this cornice over here, just grab that over there. I'll just bring this up a little bit, and I don't want to go too crazy because look at what happens right there. That to me is just so exaggerated. I don't really want to add any noise to this image. I just want to basically just bring up a little, and interesting, look, you can see what happens when you bring up too much. It just looks, to me, it looks pretty poor. So we're just going to go up to about there. I'm going to mask things off, and I'm going to bring it up to there so that we just really, again, we are sharpening the edge detail and not the texture detail. Interestingly, my sharpening is different on the Fuji files than they are with the Nikon files, but that's for another time, that discussion right there. Okay, so the image still has like kind of a very cool look to it. So let's just add a little bit of temperature, okay? Boom. We're just going to kind of go up with it. Look what happens. Wow. Look at that. We're just going to keep going up, and look, this is by feel, and look where we're going with this. I mean, look at the buildings, look at them coming alive. That's really starting to happen right there. I'm really enjoying what's going on there. I think it's a little bit dark, even though it was kind of dark. I just feel like it has kind of a muted subtlety to it. So I want to add a little bit more fill, something around there. See how that goes right there. And I haven't even touched the blacks because I'm pretty happy with where they are right now. But let's just go in and just add a little bit of blacks. And when you see the screen kind of going white or black like this, okay, when I'm touching exposure and blacks, it's because I'm holding down the Option key because I'm trying to mask things off because I'm looking for either under or overexposed areas. Okay, something like that. Now let's look at the before, let's look at the after, and to me that image really comes alive. You know, let's just add a little bit more exposure to it, something like that. Now, I'm fairly happy with that image, but I really feel like this image needs a little bit of split toning. So I'm just going to go into the split toning right here, and I want my highlights to kind of be in this orangey kind of bit. Already I really like where that's happening. And my shadows, let's say I'm going to go kind of into the bluish area. Now, that is really not where I want to be. I want to be more magenta in my shadow detail. So let's just kind of find that. Something, no, that's too much. And you know what, let's just bring our saturation way down because it's already, you know, I don't really want this to be too far over the top. So I'm just going to bring it down on both accounts. I'll just make it kind of about even. I'm going to bring the balance up just a little bit further, okay? Somewhere around there. And let's just continue back where we were with the coloration. Split toning, sorry. Somewhere, let's say, somewhere around, oh, I don't know. Just trying to find it, that's all. Alright, we're almost there. So let's see, we'll bring this down to about there. Let's just look at the before and look at the after. And you know, I kind of like what's going on with the sky over here. Let's see what happens if we add a little vibrancy. Yeah, I'm not digging that. If we bring it down, it's no good. Keep that there. You know, same thing with saturation. You know, I don't really want to do much with that. You know, I kind of like where we're headed with this. Again, before and after. I don't mind the kind of purplish vibe. Let me just bring this down just a little, another touch or two. Yeah, just something like that. And as far as this goes, just bring the saturation, the yellows up just a little bit more like that. Yeah, there's something kind of neat about that, you know. Just bring a little bit more saturation up in here in the color temperature. Pretty happy with where all that is right there. So you know what? Why don't we leave it right there? And let's go off and see what Jared's got.
So here we have your raw edits of the week, number 66, and it's this file. You know what file it is. So let's get into this. There are 19 images that I selected this week. There were a lot of killer ones inside the forum. When I go through and I pick them, if there are some that are similar before I get to the others, I try not to repeat the same images over and over, especially if they're pretty much the same edit. So it doesn't mean that your edit wasn't really good. It just means I didn't pick it this time because I had something else that was similar in there. So here we go. I liked this just simple edit. It kind of looks like you were looking up at the sky. If you were at the New York, yes, in New York at the Empire State Building. It gives you that look, that feel. It just seems like what it would look like if you were standing right there. I found this to be an interesting image. I know they said it was a double edit. I don't like the second edit, which is adding the drop shadow and adding the border. I think that takes away and detracts from an image. It's going too far when you're editing it digitally. I do like the birds being added. I like the migration of the birds. To me, it's a little too bluey on the other side. Excuse me. Just around here, I think it's a little too on the dark side. Like, it just doesn't seem realistic. Now, the birds flying, pretty cool. Border, not a big fan of the border. I like this old world Gotham feel. It reminds me of the 1920s, the 1930s. It gives you the feel that it's an old style type of image. They beat it up a little bit. It's a little not sharp up top. I don't know what they did up there, but it seems to be a pretty cool image. That's why I threw it in there. This one, I sat there and I was like, what is that up there? And they called it a tightrope image. If you look right here, it looks like they added a tightrope walker, except the only problem is that this building isn't the same height as this one, but I found it to be interesting enough that I put it in there. Boom! Total eclipse of the heart! It's a very interesting edit. It's boomified. It's way over the top. It's sharp. It's comic booky. It works. I like the comic book feel of it. Boom. This is, again, is this the same person? No, this is somebody else. Expoditer. It's a cool shot. I like the feel of it. Sorry, cool edit. I like the feel of it. I like the clouds. I like just I like the cartoony feel of it. It gives me the feel that it is a comic books type of thing. I love this. This is creative. They rolled it on the side. I will shoot them all raw, Fro Vader. It says, Master Fro Vader, the enemy cannon in sight. The only problem with this, though, is Fro Vader is a cannon fan. But I thought it was interesting. Threw it sideways. Love the stars in the background. This is totally one of those off-the-wall images. This is soft. This is cool. I like the blue haze. I like the blue feel to it. I like the moon right there. It's a little close. Reminds me of, what was that movie? What was that remake? Time Machine, where the moon is falling. We gotta go. We gotta evacuate. I like Time Machine, the new one. Very Matrixy. I really love this. It's like you're in the Matrix. Are you gonna take the blue pill, or are you gonna take the red pill and go down the rabbit hole? I like this. It feels good. I really like this. I like this shot. This is a cool. Sorry, I keep doing that. I like this edit a lot. Nice job. This is good. I like the edit, but I don't like the border again. I don't know why I don't like these borders. They just don't feel right. They feel pushed. Now, what I like about this edit is the smoothness to it. They pulled the clarity almost out. It kind of gives me a 3D feel, like I'm looking at a three-dimensional image, though it's not a three-dimensional image. I thought this was just a cool, realistic, straight-up, nice edit. Now that I look at it again against some of the others, I would like to see a little bit more light, less recovery thrown in there, just to make it go. This is kind of similar to what I was going for in my edit. They beat it up. You can see what they did, and then Godzilla is up there. That's not Godzilla. That's King Kong. And I like King Kong. I have it on Blu-ray. It's really a beautifully done film. But this is great. I like the additions of the planes. They really look like they're flying there. It really looks like King Kong is up there going, King Kong. Like it. Superman. Love the edit and love the fact that Superman is stopped right in time. Booyah. Thought this was a cool old world edit. The reason it's looking pixelated is because it was a smaller file. Grabbed it from the forum. Still like it. Batman. As my head bows on Gotham City as evil starts to come in. Batman's job is done here. The people don't want me here anymore. They don't like me. Will Batman ever return? You'll have to see the new movie to find out. Batman. I like this edit. I thought it was creative. Throwing Batman up on the corner. The city doesn't want me anymore. We don't need you, Batman. So that's cool. I can't wait to see that movie. Good stuff. I like this. It's like, oh God, my brain isn't working. It's like that Independence Day movie. It's like they're coming for you, and the lights are up here in the corner, and then out of nowhere, the plane, whatever. I like the edit. It's cool. I like the way that they light up the buildings. I like the crop in this image. I think it's a very cool crop. On top of that, it's a solid edit. I love how the building pops. It looks like they added some fake blur to the buildings that are close to us, and it draws you into the other building. That would be the Empire State Building. It's sharp. It looks really, really spectacularly good. I like this. The only thing I don't like are the edges that they cut out. Could have done a little bit better job on the edges, but I do like the sky in the background. It does look really cool. Yawn. Nice edit, nice job there. And I like this too. Really cool. Really, really just inviting edit. I like the crop. The way they did the buildings, the way they shadowed out the buildings to draw you into the Empire State Building. Really love that a lot. And that brings us back to, I think, the beginning of where we were at. And that is it. That is the raw edit of the week. Number 66, or those are your raw edits of the week 66. Don't forget to edit this. It's a dog. It's a dog. It's a really cool dog shot. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. Be sure to post it in the forum. Don't forget to name it Raw. Frono's Photo Raw Edit of the Week number 67. And there you have it. That's about all. We will see you all next week. Enjoy. Please submit your raw files. Jared Polin, Frono'sPhoto.com. See ya.